Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Tomorrow, nominations open for those wanting to run for mayor. Alongside the expected parties, a few of the lesser-known runners and riders might end up on your ballot paper on the 5th of May. Those wanting to be mayor will have to stump up £10,000 and get 10 signatures from residents in each of London's 33 boroughs. I should warn you, there is some flash photography in Raphael Sheridan's report.
The 5th mayoral election is fast approaching, but it'll be the first without Ken Livingstone and Boris Johnson. Is this an opportunity for the smaller parties?
Well, these minor parties offer a wider choice in what's an increasingly fragmented democracy in Britain. Go back to the 1950s, we'd have had the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, and possibly a Liberal, as they were then called. Now, big fragmentation, and of course, particularly in the London Assembly election, the opportunity, because of proportional representation, for smaller parties to get elected in a way that would not have been true in the past.
Across the world, candidates and parties outside the mainstream seem to be doing quite well. And of course, London's first mayor, Ken Livingstone, won as an independent candidate in 2000. So what impact might the smaller parties have this year? The political battle for women's equality is an historic one, but the Women's Equality Party was founded only last year. This is the first election they're contending.
We were formed out of a deep sense of frustration at the last general election that women in this country were being treated as a special interest group rather than half of the population. If you're a woman living in London, you are statistically more likely, when set against the rest of the UK, to be out of a job, to be living in poverty, and to be in danger on the streets and on the public transport systems. And I think that's a number one priority for anyone who is serious about running as mayor.
And from the newcomer to the political veteran, Winston McKenzie ran for mayor as an independent in 2008 and has been a member of 7 parties in his career. He's now the mayoral candidate for the English Democrats, which describes itself as England's answer to the Scottish National Party.
The experience that I've gained from joining different political parties, except Labour, is phenomenal. I've gained amazing experience. I'm a people man. I operate for the people. I go by what the people want, and the people shall be set free. The English Democrats now stand a great chance of resurrecting themselves through Winston McKenzie, the champ, the man who's got his faculties together, the community man.
In London, the BNP has had some success, becoming the second party in Barking and Dagenham in 2006, and this man, Richard Barnbrook, winning a seat on the London Assembly 2 years later. But in 2014, the party's leader, Nick Griffin, resigned, and the Electoral Commission deregistered the party after it failed to pay registration fees. It was re-registered in February. The party's candidate for mayor is David Furness.
Number one priority is to get our message across, but above all, we want to have a halt on immigration, a moratorium on immigration, because immigration underpins a lot of the problems that London have been having. Severe shortage of housing, congestion, pollution, the NHS and the school places. But the other candidates don't acknowledge this, but we do.
So, will these parties on their own have any impact on the mayoral race? And will their aggregated support have any effect on the final outcomes of the election? The final list of candidates standing in the mayoral and GLA elections will be announced on 1st of April.
Justin Greening, will the smaller parties have any real impact on this race?
Well, it remains to be seen, but I'm interested to see that there's a Women's Equality Party. Certainly in my role as Secretary of State for International Development, I've put improving the prospects for girls and women at the heart of our international development strategy. And I think it really does matter that more women get involved in politics here in the UK. And I'm very supportive of women running for office. I think we should see that more often.
Right, and you think it'll raise the profile of those issues. Will the party get your second preference vote?
That's well,
You can tell us, you can be honest with us.
I'm concentrating on getting Zach elected.
Yes, I mean, would that party get your second preference vote? I mean, would the sort of party you'd look at?
I very much sympathise with the aims of the Women's Equality Party, and it's a shame that we're still having to fight for these issues now, but I've always fought for them inside the Labour Party. I'll continue to do so. Last time my second preference was the Greens, and that'll probably be my second preference this time.
OK. I mean, the plurality of parties, is that a good thing? Does it mean there is dwindling support for the two main parties?
I don't know about dwindling so much. I mean, I don't think these parties that you've had on your film will have much impact. A lot of what would have been BNP support will go to UKIP anyway.
Right. I mean, does the re-emergence of the BNP speak of a continued dislocation of the sort of white working class or white underclass in London?
Well, as I say, their vote, what would have been their vote goes to UKIP. And as they were saying, oh, immigration is behind all London's problems. No, immigration has made London a great city, and most Londoners know that.
What will Zach Goldsmith do for women, since you raised that as an issue? Is there anything that you would like to see him do for women in London?
Well, I think he'll tackle certainly a lot of the issues that Sophie mentioned, actually, around crime and particularly violent crime, which is something certainly that bothers me as a woman as well as a local MP. But, I mean, just more broadly, general quality of life issues, frankly, are things that particularly matter in my own constituency of Putney. You know, we have some wonderful open spaces, and I think Zach's going to do a great job as mayor protecting that aspect of Londoners' lives. It's not something that I think has particularly been centre stage politically, but I think it really does matter. It's important to keep London's economy going, to invest in its infrastructure and its schools, for example. But at the end of the day, I think people's environment when they come out of the door really matters to them, and I think Zach will do a fab job of taking care of that.
You say you've obviously fought for these issues within the Labour Party. Does Jeremy Corbyn do enough in the cause of promoting women within Labour?
He promoted me.
He did?
No, I think...
Are you the living embodiment of that, then?
I wouldn't go that far. Jeremy's always been very committed to women's equality, genuinely. I think people have tried to smear him as somehow being anti-women's empowerment, but that's not true. As for the mayoral, Sadiq, I think, will tackle the issue that's most important to Londoners, and that's housing, and also stand up for London as a diverse and vibrant city.
Let's leave it there.
I've been getting